All right, let's look at a third custom seamless pattern style. This one we're going to get a little more tricky. So I'm going to hit Command 0 to zoom in, and Command A to delete all that stuff. So Command A for all to, and then delete. I'm going to close my Pathfinder for now. I want to come down to my patterns layer, make sure that is active, and I want to hit D on the keyboard so that my swatches, my fill and stroke over here, go back to the default white and black. I'm going to double click on my fill, and you can use shades of anything along here, shades from black to white. So I'm going to take a gray color for my fill, keep the black stroke. I'm going to make the stroke, let's try 5 points at first. We may need to change it. Then I'm going to hold down on my rectangle tool, select the ellipse tool, and I'm going to click anywhere in my artboard. And our artboard is 400 pixels. So I'm going to do 400 pixels and click OK. Then we're going to align it perfectly, just like that. And let's see, what are we going to do next? I'm going to Command minus a few times so I can shrink down like this. And we're going to make a couple cool little changes. Oops, don't want to do that. Let me grab my selection tool here. I'm going to select this guy, this ellipse, and I'm going to go with 10-point stroke. All right, 10-point stroke. If for some reason your stroke's going out of bounds and not staying inside, you can come over to stroke and come up to show options, and then where it says align stroke, you can make sure you align stroke to the inside, okay? Inside. I'm going to close the options because I don't need them for now, but I just wanted to show you where that's at. So now we're going to make this pattern, and I'm going to right click, transform, and scale. I'm going to turn preview on. Let's try 80% and hit tab to see how it looks. I think that'll be cool. And I'm going to make a copy. And then I'm going to duplicate that step a couple times till I get some kind of trippy pattern like that. And this last one, maybe that was a little too much. You know what? Actually, I'm going to undo all of that. Command Z. We're going to try something else to make it more uniform, because that'll have a weird effect, I think, when we repeat it. So instead, we're going to go up to Object, Path, Offset Path. And we're going to offset the path. Let's try 50 pixels. Turn on preview. And we want to go smaller, so minus 50, hit tab just to see. And I think that's about, well, maybe minus 40, hit tab, something like that. There we go. Since we're on a 400 pixel, we'll make it a nice even number. Minus 40, and you can see it created this inner circle. And I'm going to click OK. Now I'm going to come up to Object, Path, Offset Path. I'm just going to click OK. And you cannot do Command D on this, it won't work. You do have to keep coming up and do Offset Path. Object, Path, Offset Path. Click OK. All right, something like that's pretty cool. Now, I'm going to highlight all of this. Got all of them selected. I'm going to make it a group. Object, Group, or Shift G for group, or Command G for group. And that just makes it so I can easily drag it. And I'm going to drag it up till it snaps on the corner. And I want to do that while holding the Option key so that I can make a copy. Then I'm going to do Object, Transform, and Move. And we don't want to move the vertical, so make sure that's 0. And then make sure our horizontal, because our artboard is 400 pixels, is 400. Hit tab. And you can see the point is right in the center. Make a copy. Then we're going to highlight up here these two, not selecting the middle one. That's why I highlighted it up there. and right click, transform to show you the right click menu again. Move. We don't want to move horizontally, so 0 for horizontal and 400 for pixels, and click copy. Okay. So now we're going to highlight everything. You can hit Command A or drag over it with a selection tool like I did. And we want to object, expand or expand appearance depending on which one's available. Expand appearance. Then we're going to come up to our mask layer and click off anywhere. I'm going to double click and just pick a different color for the mask, like red, so it's not black or gray. Come up to my rectangle tool. Click anywhere, and we're making a 400 by 400 pixel rectangle because that's the side of our artboard. And then we're going to align and align perfectly. Take my selection tool, hold shift and click on the pattern bullseye so that they're all selected. Come down to make a release clipping mask. Come up to Pathfinder and come over to crop. Cuts it off. Then we select it all. Object, pattern, make. And then I could Command minus just so you could see that pattern repeating itself like that. And I'm going to come up to name pattern, Command V to paste, and that would be, pattern number 3. And then hit done. And you could see now I have 1, 2, 3 kind of cool patterns. So that gives you an idea of what you need to do to make seamless patterns. Remember, the key thing that's important is the left has to match the right, the top has to match the bottom. Whatever you do inside from there doesn't matter as long as those match. And to get more creative and have more complex patterns, you're just going to have to make sure they extend outside of the artboard, and then that you make perfect copies the distance of the artboard over to the right or from the top to the bottom, and that's going to kind of perfectly line it up. I know it sounds a little tricky. That's why I wanted to go over 3 of them with you, and refer back to the tutorials if you forget what you need to do, and then check the directions because you're going to make 10 or 12 of these. But I just thought about it, and our 400 by 400 artboard's a little too big. We need it smaller so that the patterns are smaller when they repeat. So that information will either be in another tutorial, or I might just have it as information on the class website.